Even before the pandemic sent shockwaves through the U.S. economy, innovation has always been a key to success in business. Economics correspondent Paul Solman looks at one businessman whose determination to locate his technology company far from Silicon Valley led to a new twist on a very old business model, the apprenticeship. It's part of our Work Shift series.
My grandmother's not the type of woman that you say no to.
9 years ago, tech entrepreneur Ankur Gopal's 86-year-old grandmother asked him for an iPhone.
I said, Grandma, why do you want an iPhone? I'm downstairs, you're upstairs, just yell at me whenever you need something.
But he obliged.
And sure enough, I was doomed to be her tech support. But as time went on, she became more comfortable with the technology and very proud. So proud that when my friends would come over, she would look at them and say, you have an iPhone 3. I have an iPhone 4.
To Gopal, it was an epiphany. He could teach almost anyone to master modern technology. He spent the years since proving the point. Not in Silicon Valley, but in his native state, whose economy he's been trying to transform.
I came to Kentucky, where my parents lived in Owensboro, Kentucky, and worked out of their basement, very cliche.
And the big idea?
That we can solve skilling and growth problems, as well as the equity problem that we face in America by creating jobs and skills for people that typically were left behind from the tech economy.
Gopal's firm, which builds mobile apps for major corporations, is based in Louisville, a city of 600,000, earnestly trying its own transformation. Its Main Street hotel featuring in-your-face contemporary art from facade to front desk, from lobby to basement to bathrooms. Just blocks away is Interapt, which Gopal staffed initially with college grads.
But as we started seeking people to come move from Boulder, Colorado, New York, San Francisco to Kentucky, realized it was a hard sell, and you know what? I'm just gonna have to find people who like living here and then skill them up.
And by people who like living here, he means those who already do. So he offered locals a simple coding test with instructions.
We took 50 people, 35 of them passed, 35 of them are still working the tech economy now. That's 5 years later.
Interapt now employs about 300 people and is expanding to other cities. And that's what makes this a story for the NewsHour's Work Shift series on jobs without college, and a story that's attracted media from the New York Times to The Daily Show, which sent comedian Hassan Minhaj,
its only brown correspondent,
to coal country, where he bonded with early Interapt hire Alex Hughes.
It's a really long time for a hug. That's okay. I'm here now.
Well, we actually had to do that 3 or 4 times.
Right, yeah, this is getting weird. Okay.
But it was hilarious. It was a lot of fun.
But where Hughes came from wasn't so funny.
When the coal industry went down, it had a massive impact of the entire area,
including his business services firm, which went bust.
I had been unemployed for 6 months
when he heard about Interapt looking for applicants. In his 40s, Hughes applied and was accepted. Didn't you think you might be aged out of coding?
They were going to have to kick me out.
The training at Interapt is based on 2 precepts, says Gopal.
Number one, everyone has to pass, so we have to put in the time, hours, to make sure that there's no one left behind and they all cross the finish line.
That's why Interapt's program is 2,000 hours, a full year, qualifying it as a U.S. Department of Labor certified apprenticeship and not just a coding camp.
The second thing I said is that we've got to pay people while they learn and not ask for any of this money back that we're investing in the training. Because you can't expect someone to learn something hard and take time out of life if they're worried where their daughter's next meal is coming from.
I'd always been interested in it, but I couldn't afford to go back to school because I had a family. This control board here is our Wi-Fi connector, so that's what connects us to the network.
Hughes now leads a team designing mobile apps for Louisville-based GE Appliances, a major Interapt client.
The phone talks to the cloud, then the cloud talks to this appliance, and we can make changes.
And the Interapt apprentices have grown more diverse.
I came into the program from a homeless shelter.
April Hickman, raised in foster care, now in an actual apartment with her 2 youngest daughters. Emergency housing arranged by Gopal's staff. She had spotted a Facebook ad for Interapt's apprenticeship program while living in the shelter.
I just kept Googling until I actually found an application. Somebody called me right back and said, We had to kind of go through a coding test.
Were you scared?
I was nervous. Yeah, it was crazy.
But she passed.
And I was like, yes. And so I was so excited, you know, like I was crying. I was like, yes.
We started with a very rural population, then we went with a 100% African American population. Same metrics, same results. The common thread between two people that you would think were very fundamentally different, they all had the drive.
This was everything for us. This was our shot. Even if we had to sleep in a trunk some dang on where, I was making it through that class. Like, I was not giving up.
Of all the foster kids you've known, given the same kind of opportunity, same kind of training, what percentage of them could do what you're doing now?
Oh gosh, a great number, because it's problem solving. And if there's one thing that we're good at, it's problem solving, you know, because we've had to.
With the GE Appliance Smart Home.
Melanie Trass, who manages client relations, says the company's openness to hidden talent gives it a distinct edge.
Since we are targeting those communities where people are being left behind, we are highly diverse within our organizations. So many clients are seeking that. It's part of the texture right now across America, upskilling, reskilling, and giving people a seat at the table where they normally may have not had a pathway. So we help create the path.
This is one of the first appliances that I got to work on.
At GE Appliances, Alex Hughes and apprentice Corey Thomas were meeting with the executives in charge of Interapt's contract.
Our relationship with Interapt is one of those ways that we find diverse thought and resources right here in our backyard.
VP Sean Stover first hired Interapt to work on the Opal Ice Maker.
The southern states, we like our ice chewable.
Chewable.
Yeah.
So can I defile this particular drink, but I want to see what this is like? Oh yeah, you're not jeopardizing your teeth in any way here.
Right.
So now a new, more challenging assignment, an app for GE Appliances' new camera-equipped oven.
I can use artificial intelligence, object recognition to put something in the oven, press start, and it just cooks it.
Starting with pizza.
A lot of different pizzas too, so it's vegetarian pizzas versus the...
I'm curious on how that'll work.
Right. So we're
Engineering
already doing
director
the
Irina
kind of
McDowell was giving Corey Thomas his marching orders.
What does the user want? Do they want a less done or do they want a more done pizza? And then being able to send that information to the cloud, right? Would you like to see the cheese bubbling?
Oh yeah, cheese bubbling?
Ironically, Corey Thomas's last job before Interapt also involved making pizza as a line cook in a joint near his parents' house.
It's called Tony Boomba's. I'd say most of the time I was there is minimum wage.
And now you're designing apps for people who would be cooking pizza.
I am ecstatic, pretty much.
Pretty good for a kid who hated high school, shunned college, spent 3 unhappy years in the Army.
We've taken the C, D, and F student in the back of the high school and put them in a vocational coding program, and they've been the top performer in the class.
To Ankur Gopal, such students are fruit just waiting to be plucked.
2/3 of the people don't have a college degree, so to us, that's untapped potential.
This is going to let us flip a switch, see what happens in app.
We said, let's go and find the people that could still be very good at a job in the tech field, and that's exactly who we find.
Find and train. For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Solman.